to my channel. So this time we're going to talk about the life in Vienna. Vienna is such a beautiful city and really suitable for living. I think it's really well known that it is ranked as the best living quality city in the world. Let's start with the temple of the city. Of course, as the capital of the country, Vienna is the biggest and the busiest city in the whole Austria. The public transportation system is the most completed, I would say, in the whole country. So there's bus lines, tram lines, subways, and also Schnellbahn. So you basically could reach every corner of the city with the public transportation. The city of Vienna is separated into 23 different districts, and the first district is of course the city center where the Stephansdom locates. And if you talk about the relatively inner city part, would be the first to the 9th district. This is the first thing I found is so interesting after moving to Vienna. People would ask you which district do you live instead of asking for your address or really the exact name of your neighborhood. It really took me some time to get used to this district system. At the beginning, I really had no idea about which district is what neighborhood or which part of the city is which district. So if you are thinking about move to Vienna, it will be great to search online first to see which district you would like to live in, and also to have a general concept about the city and how does it construct. The reputations and the environments are really different from district to district. For the local people or for the people who have been living in Vienna for a longer time, they really have, let's put it in this way, they have stereotypes to each district. For example, the 10th district is considered not very nice or not very safe. And if you talk about the 1st district, the 7th district, this is really beautiful but also expensive. So it means the rental price could be variable, depends on where you live. The pricing for restaurants or cafe houses varies very much depending on if it's a tourist district or not. They're very famous, of course. The cafe culture in Vienna, that's incredible. But this bad service attitude and manner from the cafe houses are still inherited to now. It becomes kind of a symbol or a typical culture of the city. I must say this rule only applies in the traditional cafe house, okay? If you go to a modern or a new cafe house, the services are usually pretty good and people are friendly. After the countless glamorous, modern, chic cafe houses, and also the very nice cafe and coffee culture here, another thing, if you like museums, you like art, you like music, Vienna, it's a city you must visit. Another thing I like very much about Vienna is first the variety of Asian food and also the quality of the Asian restaurants, especially the Chinese restaurants. I have been living in Austria for these years in different cities. I also have tried different Chinese restaurants in different cities. However, I must say in Vienna, they are the best. At least they are authentic. Instead of just this noodle box, fried rice, and this horrible chop suey. I don't know why they have it put it in a Chinese restaurant because we don't have that in China at all. After talking so much about the nice places, the great characters of the city of Vienna, what I like about it. Now I'm gonna talk about something I really don't like, which is the wind. It's so windy, especially right now after winter and spring is not yet coming. Okay, today and these days it's really warm and beautiful, but still the wind is so strong. If you could see on the weather forecast, it's 15 degree or even 18, 20 degree. It sounds pretty warm, super nice. But when the sun is not there and wind start blowing, you feel like, okay, winter is never gone. So I really don't like the wind in Vienna, although the city in German called Wien. So maybe there are some relations in between this wind and Wien. Who knows? Actually, before moving to Vienna, a lot of people, especially Austrians or people who have been living in Austria for a very long time, when they have heard that I'm going to move to Vienna, the first thing they said is, I don't like Vienna. For me, this is really funny. Viennese people who grow up or have been living a long time in Vienna, they love the city. They are so proud of the city. However, if you talk about Vienna in other cities, for example in Graz, in Salzburg, or some other, or Linz, or these cities, you talk with the local people there, how they think about Vienna. A lot of them will say, I don't like Vienna. Why? Because it's so big. They were really very directly complaining, there is no nature in the city. And the city is so big, it's so complicated, the public transportation network, the Viennese people are not that friendly, the dialect is not nice to hear, a lot of complaints. But after I have moved here, really living in the city, I found out these might be just the differences between the mentality from people who lives in a bigger city and a smaller city. So if you like more nature and a more peaceful, very slow life, it's definitely in a smaller city or in other cities in Austria much more comfortable. But if you really want to feel that you are still living in a city, at least in my opinion, Vienna is kind of the only city in Austria. For me, the feeling of living in a city is very important. That's why I feel so far very comfortable living here. Because of my background, my personal experiences, I have always been living in megacities. I grew up in megacities and also worked in megacities before. So for me, Vienna is within the size of, I still feel the feeling of living in a city, but it's not too crowded, and the people who live here, they have the understanding and they know how to keep distance, but you won't have the feeling that they are too cold and they are not willing to help anybody or help each other, or the distance is so far away that you don't feel the connection of different people anymore. It's not like that. It still feels warm, but a comfortable warm distance, I would say. All right, so much for my relatively short but still ongoing living experiences in Vienna. So I would be really appreciate if you could give me some more tips and tricks or some recommendations about living in the city, where to enjoy, and what's your favorite thing to do in the city, as well as if you have been living in this city before, what was your stories, interesting ones, scary ones, or something worth sharing. If you have all of these things, please leave a comment down there. And if you like my content, please give a thumbs up. Or if you have other questions for me about living here in Austria or in Vienna or other specific things, please feel free to let me know. Then I wish to see you next time. Bye.